Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? You guys, it's hot and I'm hungry. All right, so I can't be fucking with y'all too long today. All right, we gonna get to the topics and then we gonna get gone. How y'all doing today, by the way? I hope you will. First story up, you guys, the port strike. So dock workers and longshoremen on the East Coast docks are now on strike. And this is due to a major labor action. In other words, the International Longshoremen's Association told everybody to stop working as of October 1st. Their contract ran out. Okay. They are asking the ocean carriers, the owners of the docks and the all of the international things that come across the waters. They have told them all to stop because they want the ocean carriers to pay them more money, and they also want to be guaranteed that they will not lose their jobs towards automation. And basically what that means is they want to raise and they want to make sure that robots do not take their jobs. The International Longshoremen's Association is saying that during the pandemic, the ocean carriers made billions of dollars, okay? Upwards of 800% more than what they were making before pandemic. So the pandemic blew up everything. People were home and people were ordering a lot of things apparently. And so the longshoremen have been very busy. The owners have been making all of the money and they do not want to share it with the people who are doing the grunt work on the docks. We all know that without longshoremen and dock workers that this work would not get done. Or do we know that? Because the other part is them wanting to make sure that they don't lose their jobs to robots. Robots are a thing of our future. I mean, we have been seeing it. I have been concerned about it ever since we started getting customer service reps that were automated, okay? But I mean, you see it everywhere. You go to McDonald's, you order at a screen. You go to Walmart, you are checking out your own groceries. You go to Phoenix, Arizona, for example, and you see all of these driverless cars taxiing people all around. You have robots making deliveries in cities for food, for, different things. I mean, the era of the robot is definitely here. And so now the longshoremen, they're seeing that they are bringing robots onto the docks. These robots, of course, obviously can pick up huge containers and do all the things. Well, they say technically can do all the things that a human person can do, but they want to make sure that these robots do not take their jobs. The breakdown is they want a $5 an hour raise for every year that the 6-year contract is. So they're going to be signing the next 6-year contract. They want a $5 an hour raise each year. Apparently, the carriers came back and told them that they would give them a $3 raise every year for the next 6 years. That is not what they wanted. Now, the Biden administration, we know that Joe Biden has been a long time supporter of the Longshoremen's Association. So he's found his way in this discussion as well. And the Biden administration actually suggested to the ocean carriers that how about you give them a $4 an hour raise every year for the next 6 years. And the ocean carriers came back and said no, $3 an hour. So now the longshoremen are back at $5 an hour. They was like, fuck it, you don't want to pay the $4, we ain't going to $3. So now we back at $5. So as of October 1st, the longshoremen all walked off the job, and as of now, the ports on the East Coast are no longer bringing in international goods. I am worried about automation, not just for the longshoremen, but just for our country as a whole. I mean, we have seen so many people losing their jobs to automation. It worries me because it's going to be hard to fight against 100% no automation, no robots. Okay, we know as a business owner that it is cheaper to have robots because you do not have to worry about salary. Obviously, you purchase the robot that one time and then they work on for you forever until it breaks down or whatever. So you don't have to pay salary, you don't have to pay benefits, medical benefits, things like that. You don't have to worry about retirement, and you don't have to worry about workman's compensation, OSHA, so it is a difficult argument to go against because as business owners, you are trying to cut down your bottom line. Okay, but we also know that robots can't do everything that humans can do. All right, there is a such thing as human skill, you would never be able to get from a robot. But just technically speaking, when you're talking about moving containers from one place to another and doing things like that, the ocean carriers are starting to feel, and many businesses, this is even though the longshoreman is having this issue now, this is an issue that is going to continue to grow for many, many different industries. So it's going to be a difficult argument. Now, we also know that the longshoremen, the fact that they all have walked off the job, I'm sure that puts these ocean carriers in a particular predicament because they are moving towards automation, but they ain't all the way automated. So now they don't have anybody that's working those docks, and those containers, as of now are not being moved. People are not getting the product the way that they would have liked. We haven't seen it yet, but if this strike continues to go on long term, it is going to be difficult to be getting items that come from overseas, things that come from China for the most part. Okay. We know that America has a lot of made in China goods here, but we also must remember that we have a lot of made in the United States goods already. So that means that you don't need to go out and be panic buying and buying up all the goddamn toilet tissue and, the things like that. Those things are made here in America. Okay. So it's nothing that you need to just feel that you've got to go and empty the shelves just yet. But yet and still, overseas goods, which is usually your electronics and, things like that. I mean, not just that. It's so many more things. But as we get into the holiday season, the electronics is usually a big ticket item. People are buying a lot of electronics for the holidays, games and things like that. Phones, iPads, tablets and different items that come from China. Those things might be difficult to get. If you are able to get them, the prices will probably be higher because of what it had to go through to get here. We are going to see what happens. I really am holding out hope for the longshoremen only because pay the fucking people. The people are doing the work, and of course those who are making billions. I mean, 800%, if there has been an over 800% increase in the bottom line from the pandemic time, then, you can't break off a little bit for these men or, these men and women that are working on those docks. So we'll hold our hope and we'll see how long this strike goes. Yeah, but the argument is that robots can do things that humans can do. Robots have error as well. So it's not that just these robots are foolproof. It's just obviously less overhead for the business owner. I would like to think that they can come to some sort of agreement. But automation does make me worry for the future of the United States, like the future of our country, because if everything is robotic, like what is everybody going to be doing? That argument is interesting, and we're going to see what happens with the longshoremen, and I think that that's going to take precedence over other industries that will probably be facing these type of issues in the future. Okay, so when I know more about it, I'm gonna let y'all know. Is any rock stars out there, or any of you guys longshoremen, dock workers, You know, do you know anybody that works in that environment? You know, maybe you guys can shed some light on, you know, how they're feeling about it. Does it look like they're going to come around? As of now, it ain't looking like it. But of course, we're only a few days into the strike. Wait until motherfuckers' pockets really start getting hurt, okay? And then we'll see what comes of it. But as of now, this is what's the day? October 3rd. This is day 3 of the strike. We'll see how long it goes. All right, you guys, so I didn't want to start the video out about Puffy because every week it is Puffy. Okay, Puffy. Now, on Tuesday, there was a press conference that was held by, I didn't get his name, child. I did not get his name. The lawyer who is representing what we have now found 120 alleged victims of Puffy's who are claiming to have been sexually harassed, sexually abused, sexually assaulted, drugged, kidnapped. I mean, we don't really know we don't really know all of the claims that these 120 alleged victims are saying, but yes, there is a lawyer who is saying that his firm is representing so far 120 victims, 60 men, 60 women, because they claim that Puffy, you know, mama named him Sean John Combs, sexually assaulted them in some kind of way. Now, this lawyer is saying that this abuse, this assaulting, this harassment, the things that they're saying that Puffy did has been going on since 1991, which is around the time when Bad Boy label was created, or maybe even when he was working under Uptown Records with Harrell. But is that his name? Harrell? Child, I tell you, it's a trip how you can know things, but your mind just be blank when it comes time to get on this camera. But anyway, the one who passed. Yeah, they're saying that this abuse has spanned 31 years plus, that Puffy has been on the rampage basically since around the time that he got on the scene, and has continued it on all the way up to these 2024 years that we are in today. So the lawyer is saying that there are victims that were as young as 9 years old all the way up to adult age, 9 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old. Like, when you hear like the lawyer talking about what the claims are, it just sounds so salacious. It sounds so sensational. And honestly, you guys, it is starting to feel like a zoo. This is not me saying that I don't believe the victims, you know, but it is honestly starting to feel like everybody has a claim. And I'm getting to the point where I just want to hear, like, what exactly are the charges? Because people can say all the time that such and such happened, this and that happened. You know, I'm going to need to know what the charges are and when we go into court. You know, otherwise it just feels like it is just this reminds me kind of when, remember when the girl who was mad that T.I. had hit her, either he hit her or he did something to her. No, pulled a gun on her, was it? The Sarah girl, Glam University or something like that. And then remember, then she came out and said that she had all of these victims that had supposedly T.I. and Tiny had allegedly drugged and had sex with them against their will and all of that stuff. It kind of reminds me of that same thing, but on just, of course, a way larger scale because of all the other shit that Puffy is going through right now. Right now, we know the facts are the FBI has charged him with racketeering, sex trafficking, okay, kidnapping. All right, those are the facts. The lawyer that is bringing up these cases, actually, he said it is not a class action suit. I have not had coffee today, you guys, so my words is all fucked up. Okay, but he said that it is not a class action suit, that this is all individual cases that his firm intends to try. All right, they said that they got over 3,000 calls He had his, conveniently had his 1-800 number behind him. Whenever I see lawyers like pushing their 1-800 numbers, it just automatically reminds me of like a ambulance chaser type of lawyer. It reminds me of like a Better Call Saul. Did you guys ever used to watch that show? From the spinoff from Breaking Bad, Saul Goodman. Like, it gives me like that kind of feel when you are just pushing your number like that. Not saying again that he might be one of those type of lawyers. He may be a very legitimate lawyer. Actually, I did read that this man has been involved in some high profile cases in the past. So, he's not your average on the radio lawyer that you hear when they're talking about, my 25% lawyer. He's not that. But still, you guys, it's so much. It is so much. Now I'm going to tell you what the man told us at the press conference. He said that, of course, when you hear 9 years old, 14 years old, 15, you audibly gasp because you cannot believe that anybody would be putting children in those kind of situations, right? He said that the 9-year-old boy, Puffy, had the little boy by himself for some reason. I don't know if this little boy was trying to get some sort of music deal. I don't know why they would be trying to get a music deal with Puffy. Maybe it was just, I don't know. But he said that something happened to the 9-year-old little boy. There was a 14 or a 15-year-old child. The way they said it, it seems like it's a little boy, I should say. I'm not sure if it is, but the parents had brought the little boy to speak to Puffy, and Puffy wanted to talk to the little boy by himself. And apparently when the little boy and Puffy went to a different room to talk, that Puffy had forced the little boy to give him a blowjob. Okay. Now, again, I don't know what happened with these cases. I don't know if the little boy told his parents at the time. I don't know if the parents reported it to the police. I don't know any of that. This is just what the lawyer told us. Now, the lawyer also said that on some of the cases that they're going to be representing, people did go to the hospital. People did go to the police and report it, and we don't know what happened with those cases. In one case in particular, they're saying that this woman, they're saying that many of the stories are the same. Basically, they're invited to a party or an after party that Puffy is having. Puffy would have these women come. They were handed a glass of alcohol to drink, and you either drank it and got in, or you were turned away if you did not drink it. Apparently, the alcohol was laced with what they call tranks, which they're saying after, some of these victims went to the hospital to report what had happened, that they were found to have horse trank. I'm so hungry, you guys. I can't even concentrate. They're saying that the damn horse tranquilizers was in their systems. And there were episodes where one woman in particular took the drink. That was the last thing that she remembered. Woke up the next day in the bed, cooch, butthole, completely torn apart. She has no idea what happened to her. And even I think Puffy may have still been around. Okay. But yeah, the lawyer said that at these parties, they would have not just Puffy, there would be other people that were participating. There would be people that were just watching, not necessarily participating, but watching. They said that they're going after all of those people. They also said that they're going to go after any businesses, any labels, anybody that supported Puffy, knew what he was doing, and did not do anything to either stop it or bring, the law into the situation. So he has a pretty large scope of people that he is planning on coming after. What's making me really be tired when I hear about these cases is that everybody loves to throw out there are many very high profile people involved, yet and still nobody wants to give the names. And I'm just, at this point, I'm just like, listen, give us the fucking names, okay? If you're going to keep on throwing out this little tidbit that there's these high profile people and you got all these people trying to speculate and trying to figure out who these high profile people are, like, I'm over it. I don't even want to have to guess anymore. There are so many videos going around of people saying, oh, I've seen this video. It hasn't come yet, but it's coming. And I'm just like, where's the shit at? Because that's really where I am with it. All right. 120 victims. That is a lot of people. All right. That, I don't even know how your firm has the time to try all these people individually. Those cases can go on for years and years and years, but yeah, it's just, it has become so much to every day you open up your phone and go on the Instagram and there is some lawsuit that is being put out there against Puffy. Okay. And I just want to see the next step. Like, I've gotten past all of the stories of them telling us what happened. Now I'm ready to get to the next level, which is tell us who these people are so we can look at them sideways too, or what, but it is a lot and it's tiring. Now, my opinion is, I already told you that there were going to be a lot of people that were pulled into this. Like that lawyer said, that there have been people that are probably racking their brains trying to remember, whether or not they've done some things with Puffy. I mean, again, we are talking about a 30-year span, right? And then if you were at his parties and if you was drunk and high, hell, you might not even remember what the hell you was doing. So he's saying how people are probably scrubbing their social media and really trying to remember what exactly they were involved in the past. It is going to be bad for some people. They're talking about, there is one high profile person in particular that's involved that's even bigger name than Puffy. Okay, so then folks were starting to talk about Clive Davis, all of the the big, huge label names. And again, we just have to wait and see. Everything else is just a lot of fluff, a lot of sensationalism and everything. But what I will say is just the talk of all of this stuff has to put Puffy in danger. It has to put a lot of people in danger, honestly. And so I am interested in seeing if Puffy, if he remains in jail, it's going to be, I want to see how this man fares, through this next year. Because if you're talking about people that are powerful of that place, even talking about political figures and all of this, if you're talking about those kind of people and people that have a lot to lose, Puffy's safety is definitely at risk. Okay, and that's putting it quite minimally. All right, we've seen what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, because once you cut off the head of the snake, then all of the rest of the problems potentially go away. Now, maybe not, especially if these names get out there and people start to press charges against those names. But as of right now, Puffy is the guy. They coming after Puffy. And so, we'll see what happens there. But I watched that press conference the other day, and I was actually going to do a video about it the next day. And then I was just like, I just need a break, just a couple of days, so I ain't got to just be talking about Puffy and his old nasty, crazy, drug-fueled sex parties and things that he does to people over there with his 1,000 bottles of baby oil and fucking whatever the hell else he do over there, child. But yeah, I am going to start to need to know more, okay, because it's just more of the same, and I need to know what is the next thing that's supposed to happen. Now, we know that these 120 people, are you going to tell us anything else about it, or are we just going to have to keep on using our imagination? I'm over that part, okay? But when we get up for real, I mean, I'm going to keep on talking about it because this is a big story. But my hope is that, people start to put their money where their mouth is and start to tell us exactly who are these people that was involved, or even, you know, we if you're gonna tell us the story, tell the whole fucking story. That's all I'm saying. All right, next story. All right, you guys, politics. Let's throw this in right here. First, we can talk about the debate that I barely watched the other day. You guys, I am never really interested in the vice president's debate. Like, to me, I am worried about who is going to be the president of the United States. And even though I know that the vice president is the very next person in line should something happen to the president, I still don't be caring. Child, I don't be caring. So I did try to watch, and I just couldn't do it. First of all, Vance, he is a very well-spoken, oily, slick nigga. He kind of reminds me of like a used car salesman, but used luxury cars like BMW and Mercedes and shit. He's, oh Lord, I'm going to offend somebody that I know well. I don't mean you. Shout out to all my car salesmen out there. You know I'm not talking about you. Anyway, I don't trust him. He when I hear him speak, I think of, first of all, this eyeliner, you know, maybe it's not eyeliner, maybe it's just that he has like jet black eyelashes, and you know, he probably has long black eyelashes because he's a man. Don't all men have long, beautiful, curly eyelashes? It just looks like eyeliner when I see him. So when I see him, I just be like, ugh, he just reminds me of like a Ken doll. All right, I just can't do Vance. He's very arrogant. He's smart. You can tell that he's a smart man. You can tell that he's climbing the political ladder. Like, this is exactly where he wants to be. All this notoriety, getting to be known, you know, so that for when he decides to run for president in the future, because I believe that definitely is going to happen. Yeah, I just couldn't. And then watching Walls, bless his heart, child, bless his heart. You know, this is not really debating, probably is not his strongest suit. The whole time that I saw him, he kind of looked like a deer in the headlights. His eyes was all big and everything was like, and you know, if you vote for Kamala Harris is going to be the president that does this for you. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. So, you know, I was playing my Nintendo Switch, and just kind of watching, not really paying attention. So, but for those of you guys who were still undecided, did the vice president debate change your mind in any way? I mean, not change your mind. Did it confirm for you who you thought that maybe you needed to vote for? Hopefully you guys are voting for Kamala Harris. Okay, this is a Kamala Harris supporter here. Don't be in my comments talking about I'm biased and shit. Okay, we don't do YSAP, fuck him. I hope he don't ever get the chance to run. Well, he said that he's not going to run anymore. So all we need to do is make sure he don't get his ass in there this time, and we'll be fine. I did see last night on the news that, speaking of YSAP, there has been more evidence that has been entered into this January 6th hearing and all of the stuff, the case that's coming up for YSAP that they keep on pushing off because they're trying to make it come after the election, so that if YSAP does unfortunately win, he could just excuse or pardon himself. Okay, yes, that lawsuit. There has been new evidence that's been entered that's saying that YSAP, after he spoke with the rioters, you know, he had riled them up pretty good, went to his offices at the White House, and they said that actually he had advisors. Some of his people were trying to tell him, like, listen, Mike Pence is there, he's in danger, you know, you need to do something to help him. And his whole response was, so what? Like, let them riot, because he knew that this was the last chance of possibly stopping the confirmation of Joe Biden, who won the election. Okay, we know to this day that YSAP still doesn't believe that he lost the election. He will never say that. And so now we see that his mindset was, and I don't even know why this is surprising, because it seems like this is what we already knew, that he wanted them to do something to Pence. He even tweeted from his personal tweet. Okay, so he tweeted from his personal Twitter. You know, Pence had turned his back on them. This was from his private Twitter, but he tweeted it while all of the rioting was going on and the looting was going on, that Pence had turned the back on them, and that, you know, he was not the man that was going to do what needed to be done. So he was saying without saying, Pence is the one to go after, and that's who they was after. I mean, remember, we saw the videos, honey. Pence and this team, all them people was trying to rush his ass down them stairs, and them rioters were just a minute behind him. That's why Pence was like, I will not ever endorse him. I just want this election to be over. I need to still remind everybody to make sure that you are registered, make sure that you know where your voting location is, and if you can, to vote early. Okay. People ask me to talk about this war, this impending war that looks like it is definitely going to happen between Iran and Israel. I just do not know foreign policy. Like, I just don't know it. Okay. So it don't even do well for me to get up here and lie and talk about it like I do. All I know is it ain't good for the U.S. because we are going to get pulled in there helping out Israel. I figured that a war was coming. Something like this was going to be coming when we saw a couple of weeks ago. I'm sorry, you guys, my bra strap is falling down. When we saw that all those people from Hezbollah who had pagers and walkie-talkies and cell phones that they had gotten from the Israelis, and they detonated all of them at the same time, and people got blown up because they had their pagers in their pockets and their hands, their phones and their walkie-talkies and shit on them, and the shit blew up and killed a lot of people. I figured that this was probably going to be something that pushed this war to come forward. And so, yeah, all I know is they've sent a whole bunch of people over there, you know, from the military over to Israel. And I just feel like, yes, a war is definitely coming. So much chaos in the world right now, right? Also, you guys, before I move off politics, Melania Trump is promoting her memoir that's going to be coming out soon. She put out a video that's promoting this memoir, and she's pondering, like, what does it mean to have individual freedoms? And I'm going to read to you what she said. She says, it's imperative to guarantee that women have autonomy in deciding their preference of having children, based on their own convictions, free from any intervention or pressure from the government. Why should anyone other than the woman herself have the power to determine what she does with her own body? A woman's fundamental right of individual liberty is to her own life, grants her the authority to terminate her pregnancy if she wishes. Okay, that is a quote from Melania Trump, who is WhatsApp's wife, who is long suffering, I think, at this point. Okay, I think that this woman almost is trapped in that marriage for whatever reason. And we already knew that she could barely stand WhatsApp when he was president. Y'all stupid ass president. We know that she could barely stand him then. I know she is completely and 100% over it now. I am sure that his people, his team, his base, all of that are not happy with her putting that video out. I guess Melania was just like, fuck it. Okay. And I agree with Melania 100%. Like, nobody should be telling a woman that they should or should not be having a child. That should be something that woman deals with on her own. Government should not be in it. So there's that. I was just like, talk your shit, Melania. Okay, we've known that she's tried to do that on her own, in her own ways over the time. We've seen, him try to grab her hand. She snatches her hand away. We can always see that, just the thinly veiled disgust that she has for WhatsApp. Like, I don't think she likes that man. I think she can't get away. Like, she knows that he needs to have a wife, even though she is not on the campaign trail with him at all. It's just amazing how WhatsApp gets away with so many things. I mean, anybody else that did not have their spouse with them, it would be a problem, but not for WhatsApp. But maybe we know why, because Melania's like, fuck you. Okay, like the rest of us. So yeah, that was good to see. I'm glad that Melania at least knows that as a woman, you know, that there are certain things that do and don't make sense, and the government trying to tell me that I need to have a child just don't make sense. Okay, so yeah, you guys, that's it on politics. That's it on politics. Y'all leave whatever y'all got to say down in the comments below. So by the time I do the next video, you know, the shit'll be ready. But you guys, bitch is hungry. Mr. made tacos last night. Chicken tacos, they were good actually, and I had 4. But nigga, that was not enough. I've been hungry all morning, so. But that's neither here nor there, you guys. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.